Britton Wilson is a world champion in the 4x400 meter relay, which makes sense because she's also one of America's greatest threats to come back with a medal from the 2024 Olympics. She's actually the collegiate record holder in the 400 meter dash, both indoors and outdoors. But she's also a world championship finalist in the 400 hurdles. So going forward, in her first full season as a pro, she will have a very big decision to make because it is unlikely that she can be at her best when she would need to be in both events. And if you watch my channel, then you know that I love track and field, especially at the college level. So when somebody commits to run track in Division 1, just like I did years ago, we all basically hope to have a career as successful as she did. But Britton Wilson isn't like everyone else. She was destined for greatness long before she got to college, and the Arkansas Razorbacks track team figured that out for themselves, which is why she competed for them and not anyone else. I told you that when you comment on my videos, I actually try to read them all, and somebody asked me to talk about the best colleges to run for, which got me thinking that it's a very hard question to answer because there's so many variables to consider. And I also don't know how to be anything else but honest with you. So I figured if I'm going to do this, I have to do it right. So this is a breakdown of the best college track teams in all of Division 1. The cold hard facts, as well as I understand them, heading into the upcoming collegiate season. But I'm focusing all my attention on the ladies first in this video, with another one soon to come for the men. I'll even tell you what it's likely going to take to get recruited by any of them, because if you are a high school recruit, I'm sure that is really what you want anyway. And if I'm gonna keep being honest, you're gonna notice something about this list, that the teams and the ladies who compete for them are incredibly familiar. And there's a reason for that, because even though Britton Wilson was destined for greatness long before she put on a college uniform, she is not special. The top teams are only at the top because they have the best talent and the most firepower and the most money to convince those athletes to wear their uniforms. So although there are over 200 D1 track teams out there, it's really not a fair fight when all the best talent lines up wearing the same color. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section because I try to read them all. First things first, the list of the top women's track teams in all of Division 1 is not something I just made up. I advise track and field recruits all the time, and when I do it, I gather as much information as possible about the more than 1,000 college track teams around the nation to help them make a decision. I know you don't care about all the work involved to make sense of all of it, so I won't bore you, but I took all of that data and evaluated it against the team performances from 2019 through 2023. That is for both indoor and outdoor track and field, as well as cross country. I ran the numbers for a bunch of teams to make sure I didn't miss out on anything. But 5 teams really stand out as clearly the most talented. My apologies to everyone else. I'll even shout out a few honorable mentions. But here are the top teams, ranked from 5 all the way down to 1. Team number 5 is the Texas Longhorns. Their ladies have been good for a long time, but they only got the number 5 spot, beating out the honorable mentions that I'll get to later, because they won the national championship in 2023 outdoors. Julian Alfred was a big part of that, breaking multiple collegiate records, but she also became a world championship finalist just a few weeks later. But she is not the only one. On their roster, they had 4 more women not named Julian Alfred who were world championship eligible, and almost all of their NCAA meet scorers were international recruits. Texas is a state that has more talent than almost any other in the country for high school track and field. So hear me when I say this. If you get recruited to compete for the University of Texas Longhorns, you are probably the real deal. Number 4 goes to LSU, primarily on the strength of their sprint program, more than anything else. For a while, they were the most dominant program in those events because they had Micaiah Briscoe, Aaliyah Hobbs, and of course, Sha'carri Richardson running for them. And all of those ladies have medals on the world stage right now. You could easily argue they underachieved in 2023 because Favor O'Feely was running fast enough to basically be a collegiate record holder. As fast as she was, she had to run the 200-meter dash against Abby Steiner and later Julian Alfred, but she didn't beat either of them, which is why nobody really noticed. Team number 3 is the Oregon Ducks, out of Tracktown, USA, which shouldn't be a surprise, because, well, it's in the name. It doesn't really matter who's in their uniform. They're always good, whether it's Kemba Nelson, Hannah Cunliffe, or Jenna Brandini. All of them are NCAA champions. They bring in top talent in the sprints and the distance events, and they have the best outdoor facility in the entire nation, and big-time Nike sponsorship money to go with it. So it's really hard to turn them down if they actually give you an offer. But the number 2 spot goes to the Florida Gators, because if you really want to win a national championship, their head coach has proven that he can get you there. In 2023, they were led by both Talitha Diggs in the sprints and Jasmine Moore in the jumps. They both competed in the World Championships in 2022 and then returned back to compete for the Gators. Parker Valby just went back-to-back as the NCAA champion, outdoors in the 10K, and again in cross-country. Their coaches are so well respected that World Championship level pros train with them. As far as I'm concerned, the Florida Gators track team is an Olympic development program disguised as college athletics. But before I give team number 1, I promise to give you a few honorable mentions. Both Texas A&M and Kentucky just barely missed out on making this list. And Texas A&M brought us a thing mo. After a long line of very talented track athletes, but she is now an Olympic champion. But Kentucky gave us Mathai Russell, and Abby Steiner before her, and Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni before her. All of them are collegiate record holders. So yes, the Wildcats are really only interested in recruiting the absolute best. Yet the number 1 team on this list are the Arkansas Razorbacks, which is probably why Britton Wilson chose them. Let me tell you, it really wasn't that close. Arkansas is the best track team in the country, from top to bottom. Akira Nugent was the 100 hurdle champion at the NCAA meet, and by all estimations, Britton Wilson should have repeated in the 400 hurdles. Arkansas almost always wins the SEC conference, goes number 1 in their region, and then shows up to the NCAA meet with a chance to win it all. And even with Britton Wilson leaving, they added the USA Junior Champion in the 200-meter dash to replace her. If you honestly want to compete for any of these teams, I will tell you what they are really looking for. You should probably have recorded multiple performances that are first-team national elite level on mile split in more than one event. And you probably have to do all of that before your senior year of high school. It would also help a whole lot if you've already won multiple individual state championships and made the finals at any national championship meet at the club level. What I'm really trying to say is that if I did not just describe you right now, there are over 200 D1 teams that might be a good fit for you. But a full ride scholarship to one of these 5 is not something you should hold your breath for. College track and field is a sport that barely gets any media coverage, much less television coverage. And it's really hard to track down high quality rankings on which teams are doing the best in recruiting. So until anyone else makes that a priority, I guess you're stuck with me. The best track teams in the nation basically take really fast people and put them in their uniform. But those same athletes, who might already be faster than you, get access to the best training facilities, the best gear, and coaches who may or may not be better, but they're certainly higher paid than most of the other ones. It's hard to turn down a deal like that. Britton Wilson would be a superstar track athlete just about anywhere, but there is a reason why she chose Arkansas when she was looking to transfer, and I really can't blame her, because all the signs seem to point to the fact that they are the best. I'm Coach Rob, and thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to see more content like this, then please like and subscribe.